Hi there, beautiful soul. My name is Beverley-Anne and I'm Lightwarrior. I am a light code and DNA activation facilitator. Today I'd like to ask you a question. Who are you? This is a question that we have all of us, in fact, have asked for years in our lives at some time or other. Who am I? I don't know if you've ever thought about that. I remember the first time was sitting in an office across from a facilitator, and she asked me, Bev, who are you? And I thought about it. I thought, who am I? Ah, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an accountant, I'm a sister. And she stopped me right there and said, no, 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 no. Not what mask are you wearing? Not what role are you playing? Who are you really deep down on the inside? I was dumbfounded. Thought, and I really couldn't come up with anything other than what I'd already given her. So she gave me a book and said, I need to go home and think about the question. And in a week's time, when I came back to see her, she wanted to hear what I'd come up with. So that evening, when I got home, I was settled in bed, I was sort of going through the book, and I started pondering the question, who am I? I mean, in religion, we've been taught that we are a physical body. And that one day when this body dies and we die, we might go to heaven or whatever it's called in whatever religion you believe in. We've never been told that we are more than just this physical body. And this book was implying that I am a physical being having a human experience. Now, this was a new concept to me because I've always believed that I'm nothing, that without Jesus Christ, or without whoever I believe in, I'm nothing. So I really, really started looking deeper within. And this is consequently quite a catalyst to the beginning of my awakening because I started doing some really deep searching, reading, researching to find out who I am. And what I actually discovered was yes, I am a beautiful, amazing, incredibly powerful spiritual being who's using this body as a type of vehicle, as a spacesuit, in other words, to walk around, to experience, to have fun in this physical realm, Earth. And deep, deep down inside, there was an inkling. There was a little bit of remembrance of who I really am. As the years went by, and I did more research and more learning, and I started meditating and having quiet time, being still, as the Holy Bible says, be still and know that I am God. And yes, I am God. The more still I was and the more I spent time with myself and my inner being, who is me, I realized that I am God. Although that realization, although I had not even an understanding, I had a remembrance of that. I never quite understood what that meant. I couldn't get past the fact that that seemed arrogant. How can I, little me, say that I'm God? That just didn't make sense. But as I say, as years went by and I grew, went through lots of trauma and challenges, my beliefs started changing. And it's just ironic how when babies come into this world, they are totally helpless. They can't do anything for themselves. They can't feed themselves, dress themselves, move even. They can't even walk. And this is the sort of concept that we've been indoctrinated by, I think, and programs have been built around this concept that we are helpless and useless and nothing, really, but a physical body. So today I want to challenge you to actually go deep within, be still, really still. If you can try and still your mind away from distractions, away from cell phones, away from any mobile instruments and electronics and children and partners, and just be still. Take the attention that is sort of at where your eyes are in your head, sort of where your brain is, between your ears and your eyes, and try and put that attention a bit further back and higher up, sort of to your forehead, but deeper in towards the brain, deeper in, above the ears, deeper in. And just try and get your attention there with your eyes closed. That is known as the higher mind. Now, if you can take your attention there, try practice getting your attention there. That is the first thing I suggest for learning to be still, is get your attention to your higher mind. And it's not easy initially, but you'll see it gets easier and easier if you can try and get your attention there. And what I recommend is getting a journal, just a little notebook, any notebook or a diary, fancy diary, whatever fascinates you or gets your attention. I like to use a little school notebook. They're cheap, they're easy. I put the date on the top right in the corner and the time. I always like to put the time that I'm busy. I normally sit on my bed. But, yeah, sometimes I sit on the couch. It depends. But then I live alone, so that's fine. You need to find a little spot where you can be on your own. And you write in your journal. Don't forget to write the time. And you sit down and you try and get the higher mind above the ears, above the eyes, sort of in the forehead, sort of where the middle center above your brows, sort of where they say the third eye is, but further back, deeper into your head towards your brain. And try and see if you can hold that and see whatever comes to mind, whatever insights, whatever bright ideas, whatever thoughts, whatever things come. If you find you battling with thoughts and you keep thinking, oh, I've got to remember to cook the food, I must remember that, I must remember to do this, I must look. Then I suggest stop, open your eyes, get your journal, and make notes. Write all that stuff that's in your head that keeps distracting you. And just write down, do a to-do list if necessary. Write the to-do list, saying, I need to get groceries, I need to do this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then once you've got all that out of your mind, try again and just persevere. But try and make a point of looking at the time to actually close your eyes. And I want to encourage you to do this because you're going to see that eventually you're going to be able to get up to 10 minutes. If you can do longer, that's excellent. But the minimum I'll encourage you to get is about 10 minutes to close your eyes and try and just be still. That is the ideal way to be still and meditate. And when we say meditate, it's stillness. Be still and know what is on the inside of me. But there are other ways that people meditate, and people are still and have wonderful experiences. I know a friend of mine who was a photographer, professional photographer, and he would go wildlife photographer, specifically birds, and he would go and get into a hide in the forest, and he would just lie there looking through his camera, absolutely still, until he got a bird or something came into the view of the camera. And that was time would just go past. You wouldn't even realize how much time, but that was a form of meditation. Some people love to read novels. They get so engrossed in the novel that the time just disappears. They don't even know that it's been so long, quite shocked. I know some people, and I've been there too, where you get so immersed in a really good movie that I also don't realize what's going on around me. So I encourage you, whatever it is, if it's sewing or cooking or baking or working on your motor car or your motorbike or playing, even playing games sometimes apparently is, I haven't personally done it, but I know of some youngsters who have. My son, for example, has played games and he says the most inspirational thoughts have come to him and he's got great ideas and things while he's playing games because you're totally distracted and out of your thinking mind. That's the whole idea about meditation is to get out of your thinking mind and be still. That is when the deeper higher self, it sounds like an oxymoron, but deep down on the inside of you is the real you, the beautiful spiritual being that's having this human experience. And that's the being that you want to contact to get your inspiration. I just want to encourage you today, try and make a practice of doing the daily practice of doing quietness, quiet time, stillness, even if it means going for a walk on the beach or sitting outside watching the birds or whatever it is, having a cup of tea early in the morning, just sitting outside in your little garden, whatever works for you. I encourage you. Make this a daily practice. Until next time, with divine love and light.